Hey everyone. First off, if you're watching this, thank you so much for your time. If you could please leave a like and comment, it would really help boost the reach of this video. I do want to stress, I'm not a medical professional, and all of the information in this video is based purely on my specific set of circumstances and geographical location, including but not limited to experiences, care offered, procedures, pricing, and my understanding of everything I've talked to doctors about. With that being said, what is this video? I want to take a bit of time and talk about some stuff going on in my life. In March, I'm getting a couple cross-linking procedures done on the corneas of my eyes to help with a condition I've been struggling with for the past 5 or 6 years, but have probably had signs of since at least 2016. If you know me or read the title of the video, you probably already know that condition is keratoconus. Before I get into the weeds here, let's first talk about astigmatism. Astigmatism is imperfections in the curvature of the eye that cause blurry and distorted vision. Normally, and what most people with astigmatism have, is a buildup of tissue on the cornea, the front membrane over the eye, which creates more than one focal point for light to hit the eye. This is most commonly corrected by glasses that focus the light more evenly, contacts that give the user the normal curvature back, or even in severe cases, LASIK, which uses lasers to permanently change the shape of the cornea. So how does keratoconus fit into this story? As a form of astigmatism, keratoconus is a progressive eye disorder that causes the cornea to gradually thin until it bulges out of shape. Whereas a normal cornea is more dome-shaped, an eye affected by keratoconus is cone-shaped. Kind of like normal astigmatism, the light interacts with the eye in a way that causes blurry and distorted vision. This happens because the collagen fibers of the cornea break, leaving behind scar tissue. However, unless caught early on, this cannot be treated with glasses or regular contact lenses, and LASIK has no effect because there isn't enough tissue to reshape the cornea with. It can also be very hard treating keratoconus. It's believed the condition goes underdiagnosed, and catching it is tough because most of the early symptoms are the same as regular astigmatism. And while sometimes those can be corrected by glasses and contacts early on, because keratoconus is progressive, there's a chance the eyes will get much worse without treatment. On top of that, most of the treatments are very expensive and don't fully correct the cornea shape. So let's break that down. The very first treatment you should look into after being diagnosed is also the most important, cross-linking. This procedure is very expensive, and because of that may not be an option for some, which is the exact reason why it took me so long to finally get it done. For reference, my procedures are $6,800 per eye for a total of nearly $14,000, and even with insurance covering about $10,000 of that, I have to pay everything up front. So what is cross-linking, and why is it so important to get done first? During cross-linking, they essentially dissolve the outer layer of the cornea, scrape that off, and drip riboflavin drops onto your eye while shining a UV light onto it at the same time. This allows the drops to harden and create new bonds for your cornea, strengthening it, which can completely halt the progression of keratoconus. And although there is a small percentage of cases that this won't fully halt the progression, it does slow it down greatly. My experience with this so far, without actually having gotten the procedures done yet, is very different than a friend of mine who also has keratoconus. Although that could be because he got his done almost 5 years ago and had to go out of state. His procedure was almost a third of the price of mine, and he was able to get both of his eyes done at the same time, whereas my eyes will be done separately, 2 weeks apart from each other, and right across the river. After cross-linking, the next step is to look into a special type of contact lens called a scleral lens. Scleral lenses are a hard contact lens, computer-lathed, per patient, per eye, and usually require specialist visits. These lenses can be very expensive due to the specialist nature of them, and can require a lot of maintenance and equipment to take care of. The basic function of these, like regular contact lenses, is to give your eye back the smooth curvature it's missing due to the astigmatism. The difference is, scleral lenses cover a much larger area of the eye because they have to hold a saline solution while also being permeable enough to allow airflow to the eye. My personal experience with these included multiple $300 office visits, a single $600 lens, contact containers with solution, special plungers to put in and take out the lenses with, and saline to put in the lenses. Unlike regular contact lenses, these can last up to multiple years. My friend's experience here was also much different than mine. For example, my specialist told me I could only keep mine for about a year, maybe 2 if I took really good care of them, but they'd need to be replaced after that. However, my friend had a pair last him for 4 years, and he only recently had to replace them because they got cracked. So, mileage may vary. The next procedure available is something I don't really know much about, so I won't spend a whole lot of time on it. Bear with me. Intrastromal corneal ring segments, or ICRS, are thin crescent-shaped implants made of plastic that are inserted into the middle layer of the cornea, or stroma, to correct the irregular corneal shape. Essentially, this plastic ring flattens the eye down to give more of the dome shape back, helping the light to interact better, and ideally restoring at least a little bit of the vision. I haven't seen any specialist about this yet, though I did talk to my doctor. While she isn't very knowledgeable in this specific area, she did say the procedure is fairly new, so there's not a lot of long-term data available, and the efficacy of it is hard to speak on. While this may sound kind of sketchy, when I first started going in for keratoconus in 2021, one of the doctors I saw also said this about cross-linking. So who knows? In 5 years, ICRS could be one of the first procedures looked at, like cross-linking is now. I recommend anyone with keratoconus to look into this and definitely talk to a professional if interested. The last procedure available that I'm aware of is a full corneal transplant. As far as I can tell, this is basically a last-ditch effort to save the eye. This sounds really dramatic, but a full transplant is extremely invasive and has an extensive recovery period, while also requiring donor tissue. When I brought this up to my doctor, she straight up told me no, so at least mine takes it very seriously. Overall, it's been really tough dealing with this condition. I used to be very prideful of my 20/20 vision. I read constantly, sometimes multiple books a week. It warped my sense of self. I'll never be the same, and that's really hard to say out loud. It's hard to explain what my vision is like to someone who doesn't have keratoconus. But for those who wear glasses, it's a bit like if one of your eyes had a strong prescription and the other had a weak one. I have a hard time keeping my eyes focused, light sensitivity, headaches, bad depth perception, and lately I've been seeing darker eye floaties in my everyday vision. I see things with a sort of halo effect over everything. And while my vision used to be mostly clear with the halo, everything recently started to get a lot fuzzier. Although I'm not sure if my vision has actually gotten fuzzier or if it's all a mental thing. I say it that way because over the last 5 or 6 years, I kind of got used to the way my vision is. It started out really striking that things were getting blurry, or that things were blurry. And then I kind of got used to that. And I guess mentally I started compensating for the fact that things were blurry, and it didn't really stand out after a while. But I'm going to get these cross-linking procedures done, get proper contact lenses, and keep fighting. And with that, if you made it to this point in the video, thank you so very much. I'd also like to thank my wife for being in my corner the entire way. I would not have been able to deal with this without her support. I know I said it at the top, but if you could please leave a like, a comment, and even share this, it would really mean so much to me. This video won't have the kind of reach I would have hoped, but with your help, it'll at least have a fighting chance. Thank you.